Welcome to AniMirror, the podcast where the wisdom of the animal kingdom meets the depth of self-awareness.
We're your hostesses, Dr. Melissa Sell and Amy Michelle. Together, we explore the profound ways animals reflect our inner world and reveal the patterns shaping our lives.
Through the lens of the 5 biological laws of the Germanic healing knowledge, we uncover the deeper truths behind our experiences and how they can guide us towards healing and growth.
We mix a little woo-woo with biology. We're responding to the call of the wild, attuning to the frequency of nature that Dr. Homer himself called quintessence. Whether you're curious about the underlying meaning behind your pet's or frankly any animal's behavior, intrigued by nature's synchronicities, or seeking to break free from cycles of suffering, you're in the right place at the right time.
Each episode is an invitation to expand your awareness, discover new perspectives, and embrace the transformative power of the mirror animals and nature hold up for us.
So, come wildly curious and dare to open your heart in community out loud with us. And let's explore the fascinating interplay between the outer and inner worlds.
Welcome to
AniMirror, the new frontier.
Hello. Welcome back to the AniMirror podcast. We are so delighted to have Olivia with us today for some bunny talk. Olivia was one of our participants in the first live rounds of the AniMirror class, and she brought the bunny energy. She's got bunnies, which was a really wonderful thing to see. Most people have cats and dogs, and so it's very fun to have unique creatures, different creatures, showing us stories and reflecting to us our deeper stuff. And so welcome, Olivia. We're so excited to have you on with us today.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here and share the experience and be in the presence of the workshop energy again. Yeah.
Totally.
Want to introduce the real stars? It's not us. What are the bunnies' names? We know you're the goddess chaperone, luminous with light. It's coming through you. Who are the babes we're really interviewing through you?
So we have Copper and Lola.
Okay.
And I don't think they can see, right? But
they might be if they're on YouTube and seeing it. Hi. Ooh.
Hi, baby.
That's Lola, right?
That's Copper.
Copper, okay.
And Lola just scurried away. She's I think so they really feel like the moon energy, and so like lately she's just been like a ruckus, and so she's just scurrying away doing her thing. But Lola's the little gray one. And then I think this is new since I've done the workshop with you, but I have 2 more now. Is that new?
That's new. Congratulations.
So I rehomed 2 more and they came as a pair. So I have them like, some upstairs and the other 2 downstairs. And so I'm doing this back and forth thing until I can, I'm just kind of feeling out when it's right to acclimate them all together, because I know the boy downstairs wants to, but the girl is a little finicky. And so I'm waiting for the right time.
And what are the new ones? What are their names?
So they came and I kept their names. So Dorian Gray is the boy. He's a chocolate Dutch. So he has like the up ears. And then the other one is actually like a fancy version of Lola, and her name is Gwen. And she's like a lion head lop. So she has this like luscious like hair that like it's like flowy. And yeah. And they each have their own individual personalities. And the boys are very sweet, loving, like they want to be loved and give so much love. And then the girls are like, on my own time, but I still want it, but like on my time.
So interesting. The facets are here already. There's so much to dive into. First, you have 4, right? The frequency of 4 is truth and building foundations. And now you are surrounded by truth. You can't possibly not see it. That's the invocation from the quad you've got. So roll, whatever you want to share, the experience or anything, kind of through that, now where you are, you've adopted, you've claimed the mirrors of you and brought them more in, which I love. So roll, what do you want to share?
I guess I'll first share from what I recall off the top of my head of the experience. Going through the workshop, I felt like it was really powerful because I feel like it's already the life I live, but it took me deeper in seeing the reflection that they are reflecting back to us, or that we can be reflecting in them, and just all of the messages and things that are signified like through them, that if you're open to see it, the dots start connecting, and like more than I even thought was there. And through that, it was illuminated to me like certain things that obviously the questions that we went over, like that Copper was going through and stuff. Just bringing that to the surface to have it be illuminated is enough to create the change in a positive direction for his like expansion and mine, and the house. So I think that was like a general takeaway that was really powerful.
I can't help but, I mean, if anyone's listening, then go to YouTube, maybe. And if you're in the class and you see the lives, you literally are a different radiant being. And I know this is all of us radiating together, but you mentioned the word illuminate. So is there something particular that, that is a highlight for you, that feels like, that spark, that catalyst, that little flame flickered, and then all of a sudden, I don't know if you see it in the mirror, I see it after spending 8 weeks with you. Like I know someone mentioned this to Dr. Melissa throughout, like the hair, the skin, you're just youth, vibrant, which is just like, oh my God, the side effects, if you will, of, or the symptoms of the experience.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's easier when someone else points it out. They can see it more than like we can see ourselves. So I appreciate that you see that the change.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely like internally feel that, like, I guess connecting to the specifically to the Germanic new medicine part of it, it's coming to me is how much, like, even if you think you're not like doing things based on fear, or you're not living in fear, right? There's still a little bit there. And so going through this and learning even more about the Germanic new medicine, which I just love so much, it showed how much like more the fear lessened even from that. Like, even if I didn't think there was any there, it just completely dismantles like anything like fears that were hidden, and just unravels the layers of when you bring awareness to those hidden parts, that it allows for so much possibility and options to be available to see through like a new lens of how to experience the world and life in general. So I know we're talking about like specific maybe like ailments or kind of like imbalances, and that's like one side of it, but then it's also just like in general just how much more expansive things can be when you aren't jumping to maybe this means this or this means that. And so I noticed after that, like, people just in my world or certain things like happening, and like where maybe even like an old version of myself or that person currently would like jump to think that like it's something so like, you just kind of like get heightened about it. And then actually it's like, no, like let's just bring it down and kind of like look at all of the possibilities, not just like, oh, it means this one thing because somebody said that like this symptom means this, or, and then it just it just completely lessens like that fear and like the energy of that. And so I'm now remembering that was like another big thing that I really, really took from that.
Totally. Yeah. When you learn the fifth biological law and you really are understanding like the essence, right? It's like, yes, it's the specifics. Oh, this symptom indicates an indigestible morsel. This symptom indicates a separation, but it kind of also is the totality of understanding that there is a meaning, a biological meaning and a purpose, the fifth biological law for every single symptom. And that when you're open to it, you're not thinking, oh, it was just the food. Oh, it was just, this other outside cause that led to the symptom. It gives you that opportunity to peel back the layers, to look deeper. It's like, yeah, there was a change in the food, but also this was going on in the home, and this was, being reflected back to me. I do remember, and I'd love if you recall some of the details of the. Recall something specifically about out of the box. Was it with copper?
That was coming to me too.
Yes. What was the out of the box insight that you had?
And so that one was, which was funny that I didn't realize until towards the end, that when I met him, he was in this like cute little wooden like framed box, right? And I thought like, oh, that's so cute, even though it's like not ideal for him to be in that. But and then bringing him home and seeing like wanting him to go to the bathroom in his like box, and just how much it was like, if you try to put me in there, like that's not where I'm going to go, because that's not where I want to be. And then the reflection of that to me, as in like, I definitely don't want to be put in a box. Like I just like no walls around me, And so that was an interesting kind of like who's reflecting to who kind of a thing, like which one comes first, and how like the resonance of us both just not like, don't box me in, don't like label me, don't put like anything around me where I can't be free. And then once like realizing that, it's like, okay, now I'll go in my box. Like when it's not called a box, and when you're not trying to put me in it. And so just like letting like it's still there, but like the freedom around it.
Exactly. Yeah. So that freedom, it's like no one wants to be controlled. No one wants to be told. There's just this inherent love and desire for freedom. And even if I'd like to go in my box, for convenience or for hygiene or whatever, just to keep things tidy, it would be lovely but if I'm forced to do it, I can't do it. But if I'm free to not do it, then it opens up the choice. Oh, I can do it. And that's when you had to see that for yourself. It's like, oh, in the box. I hate to be in the box. I hate to be told what to do. And that's the cool thing, is like, when we can look at it just from the animal's experience, it's like, okay, territory marking, right? Not wanting to be confined. I want to mark my territory. This is a biological, animalistic desire to, to say, this is my space. All of this, not just that corner. And so I don't want to be confined. But then, what's the other level? Is there any way in which this could be about me? And if you recognize, oh yeah, I hate being put in a box, then it all starts to make sense. Why this animal is in your experience. He came to you in a box, right? You're desiring to have him in the box. And it was just a cool way that nature, the universe, is reflecting back to you something that could allow you to be more free, right? And I think that that's what all of these messages are about, is how can I be more free? How can I have more fun? How can I break through the confines of the early life experiences that have led me to live in a certain shell?
Yeah. And you're just now reminding me of like back when I was younger, and how it was how yeah, like just being told to do something, in school or from a parent, and it's like, well, because you're telling me to do it, like I'm not going to do it. But give me like my time and space, and like I will do it when but it was just like, but that being like told to, even if it was like something that I could benefit from, it was just like, I'm not going to do it because you're telling me to do it. But when I'm deciding to do it, I'll do it. And it felt different that way. And so that was like another kind of reflection you just reminded me of.
Beautiful. Yeah, personal freedom. I was the same way. If I was about to go load the dishwasher and someone tells me while I'm on the way there, go load the dish. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. I was going to do it until you said something. And this, again, that drive for freedom, for personal autonomy, for not being controlled. I don't want to be controlled, and therefore I will even deprive myself of things that feel good in order to not feel controlled. And so I think so many people can relate to that reflection. And then even, with the animals, how are your pets potentially reflecting back to you? Is it pulling on the leash? Is it, going to the bathroom outside of where they're supposed to? And is there something within you that could, if you shine the light of awareness on it, could it give you a deeper insight into a way in which you are holding yourself back or not benefiting from something you could benefit from simply because you're under the idea, someone else, some authority figure is telling me to do it, so I must not do it.
Yeah. That's exactly how I operate.
Cool. Thinking back to was there something, other experiences? Were there any symptoms that came up during the 8 weeks with the bunnies that you did connect with GNM and see the connection there?
You said during?
Yeah, during or since.
I mean, like the urination in the box thing I felt like that was resolved during our time. That was like the biggest one. And
was there something about the bed where they was the sleeping location, sleeping together, or in the box, not in the box? Someone was upstairs, someone was downstairs.
Yeah, well, it was like one was in the living room, one was in the room. And then I think it was right around that time where we were trying to kind of like have them separate, but then together. And so we were kind of like going like back and forth with that. And then I forget what happened, but something that he did where I was like, well, maybe he wants to like sleep with her at night. So then we started letting them sleep together again. And it seemed like he was more comfortable with that. And then like things kind of like weren't as active at night as they were before. And it was just kind of like, seeing like what is it that they need versus like what I think they need. Kind of like, just seeing like what their behaviors are around that. Yeah, I'm still trying to work through. Hi, boo boo. Let me see. Look at this little head through the thing.
Oh my gosh, how cute.
That's in there. There's a couple things I'm like recently just trying to work on. And yeah, I was starting to watch the eye video module about like the cataracts and all of that. So I'm trying to understand that because that's something that has been one of the most recent things. And yeah, and then kind of like respiratory. But those are more like after that happened, kind of after. But yeah.
Can I pop in and just share what just happened and also reflect something that I was hearing before it happened? You brought in, so we talked about at the top of this, the luminous, the illuminated. You brought that word, that frequency. You're sitting in light. And I watched lights flicker in the house and all the power go out. So light and electricity just go out. And I was like, okay, so what is this about, right? This is what we do in the AniMirror experience. What is the flashing lights? What is this? Like, is there a frequency shift in me, in us? Is there something really, is there an alert happening in my world? The answer to all that is yes. And that's for another time. So that happened and then everything shut down. And I said, okay, awesome. Bring this back in, which was we welcomed you through this light. You brought in illuminous or illuminate. And then these two concepts that we started AniMirror experience with you, and which were, you brought in fear. You're talking about fear today, and the box. Now, I love this full pivot that you're now sitting in. You brought in 4 bunnies that form an old box image, but you shifted it to the frequency of 4, which means foundation, and I'm building something new. And in walked to other AniMirrors to help you begin a new foundation, like the whole new you that you're talking about. Like it's different. I don't see things the same way. And then the frequency, the shadow frequency of bunnies. If you look up anything about symbology of bunnies in Gene Keys and Human Design, just on Google, you'll the thing that bunnies are known for is the shadow of them is fear, but what's fascinating is that when they go into that fear, they freeze to almost attempt to become invisible to their predators. So what I think is funny, it kind of ties into, okay, well, parts of our shadow, like, and we welcome it in, but before we go down the rabbit hole of fear, which you've brought in, instead of like going, oh my God, it's this, or I have to do this, we pause, like we have that phrase, like pause off. We just pause, we freeze, and we invite in the light to say, what is this about, right? You can call it anything you want, love, light, or just the frequency of AniMirror or the frequency of the bunnies. Like, what are you showing me? So you're speaking it without really knowing it. And now, this is what I love to do is go, oh my God, this is all swirling right here. So for me, the glitch is, oh, it's not really a glitch. It's like, as we talked in the course and in the experience, it is a game changer. Like something just shifted. You brought the light in and we just had to like dial it up. Like we've up leveled. You are no longer in the old game. I know you know that inside, but it's not the old game anymore. So the new things that are starting to pop up is because you're in the next level. And so it's like, okay, now what? What do I need to, or what don't I want to see, right? Just at the top of like the eye stuff, but just, and then you dive in from there. Or respiratory, like, we gasp, even in the AniMirror version of that, we gasp, we take breath when we're in fear. And we go into freeze. But again, now we have a whole nuance of freeze means pause, and also breath means spirit, right? So now we can let that in. And you literally have this like rainbow halo over you right now. It's crazy. So it's just amazing. So I'm just I am so enamored in the, and adoring and cherishing the experience with you individually, and also, in the collective, what you are reflecting back. Because when Melissa and I started, we did not know what was coming. We just followed that call, of the wild, of the bunnies, of the snakes, the cows, the pigs, the dogs, the cats. And taking that in to settle into that. It's that fifth. The fifth is what guides us, I think, without knowing it. And then we dive into the details. Okay, let's kind of like backwards dive. It's this, oh, okay, microbes, the fourth. Oh, this, okay, remember we started at everything happens for a reason, and there's a beauty to it, and it's biological, the meaning of life. What is it really happening? And so here we are. We just kind of swirl in the soup of it, of the smoothie of it. So I had to share that. What is anything coming up since that that you want to just reflect back about yourself, absorb that, receive it in
Well, I
your
just
new
love
game?
how you bring everything together, because it's always kind of like you reflect it back obviously differently. And so I love always seeing you connect all of the things in a different perspective. And then like I got chills when you talked about like bringing in the four, and then like the old box of like the four, and it's just like how true that feels, like, when you just feel like the chills in your body and just like, yeah, that's exactly it, even though I didn't articulate it in that way. But like when you did, it was just like, that's it.
So I have a question for you about your new foundation. So we can call the shadow of the frequency that you're living in. We can call that a box, and we know what that feels like. We experienced it together with you. So now you're in this foundation, and truth. The four is truth. Walk the talk. I'm curious, what is the new, medicine, if you will, the new elixir that the four are bringing you, that maybe you're not fully aware, but there's this sort of like question, because that's how we begin the experience in AniMirror, is what is this, what is this for? What is it about? I'm curious and I'm open to receiving. So I'm wondering if there's anything that just popped in that through the chills of the
truth for you, that it resonates? Is there anything in particular that you were questioning, ruminating about in your own life, what you're ready to begin? For fertility, by the way, bunnies are fertility, creativity, new beginnings. So it's just, it's all here. I'm like, what is it? Tell us.
Well, it's funny because it's funny because I feel that, but I don't yet know what that is. And like I got like a random call from someone the other day about meeting to like create something, like a book or a program or something. And I'm like, obviously that's not like, those aren't my plans, but I took the call. And so I'll meet with the person and like, I don't know what's gonna come from it, but I definitely know there's that like creativity and new things that are swirling in the background. And I'm just like, okay, I don't know what it's gonna be, but it's there.
How amazing. You said it again. So fear, shadow, but now you're like, I'm sitting in the unknown, which is curious. So you literally flipped that also. And it's this palpable, I don't know. And it's exciting. Like, I don't know. And I'm not afraid for the first time. And it's not your plan. It's the plan, the grand plan. And what happens when someone calls you and you don't know, or they invite you in is exactly how AniMirror came to be. It was me. Hey, I have this idea. It's not mine, but it's something. What do you think? And I thought I was just going to jump on to language of adaptation once in a while and have a conversation about animals. And Melissa was like, let's do a course. And I was like, what? What's happening? Again, it's happening through us if we allow it. And so you already have that reflection. Like, I'm so excited. I don't know what's going to come for you. And we know the possibility is grand, right? This was a non-topic, a non-word, a non-concept, just less than a year ago.
Well, and you just reminded me too of like, I think it was, well, maybe this is going on the second month. So maybe it did occur during the workshop of like you said, the uncertainty, where it was like something just hit and it was like, I'm actually tired of trying to find answers to things. And like, I'm like, I don't need to know all of what's going on. Like, if I am meant to, it will just come to me and I'm actually like, it felt like for me and the collective, but of the uncertainty and the unknown, that it's like, it's time to just be okay sitting in that and not only feeling good if you know what's coming.
Wow. I have chills on that. That's huge.
Yeah. So you just like kind of like reaffirmed that had come up.
Wow. This is palpable. Yeah. It's the frequency here. And we say it again.
I said I feel like the like the warmth of it, like the fire.
Yeah, the fire of potential. It takes a flame, to spark and ignite and illuminate all of us. I mean, that's what we are, light. So that's the palpable feeling of like, this is us. What are we going to do with this? I don't know. The answer is like the best. I don't know, because it's not me doing it. I'm just opening myself up to receiving. And that's what I heard is, you're in this receiving mode. You're in acceptance. You're willing and accepting. And the frequency of I'm okay no matter what. And okay means literally, if you look it up, it means acceptance. I'm in approval of, not someone's approving me. I'm in approval of, and satisfactory, which the word sat is in there, truth. So here it is. Here's the AniMirror experience from the beauty of GNM, GHK, quintessence in particular. And here we are in this beautiful trinity of truth.
Yeah. And I also hear the feminine receptivity.
Yes.
Because the women have been in
in the masculine, go create, make it happen, you know, rather than in that lean back, receptive, be that creative, subconscious, forth the darkness, right? The womb is dark, the soil is dark, but from there springs forth the life. And to be able to sit in that unknowing zone in the darkness and know that the light springs forth. And I think that, yes, us all being women, and the being able to sit in that receptive, soft, curious, playful, rather than I have to know, I have to make it happen, forcing, demanding, it has to be here now, living, feeling behind, feeling rushed, feeling it's not okay to be uncertain, rather than this is good, this is wonderful. Something, you know, is birthing from this new illumination, from this new curiosity, from, yeah, these animals that come in to our lives. It's like, okay, all of this is for a purpose and a reason, and it's for that greater expansion of consciousness, expansion of play and joy. And I think it's really fun that everyone is in their own way kind of coming back to that core essence of beingness, of the creative potential that exists in the unknown, in the darkness. And so I think, yeah, this is a very beautiful conversation that I definitely think will have, like, spark, you know, people that find this episode and listen to it. It's because there's something within them, because we are all mirrors for one another. And that's the, you know, the beautiful gift of the internet that we get to connect with conversations and people. I mean, other people have just been such catalysts for my own awareness, my own awakening. And it's so, you know, I'm so grateful for Amy and, you know, for the call of, hey, you want to do this thing, and how cool it's been to see how it reaches out. And I do think that we're in just a new era of something. there's new and interesting things, I think, happening everywhere we look. I mean, people are really getting turned on to the 5 biological laws, and they're getting it, and they're ready for it, and they're like, yeah, this is how I live. I just got back from a trip to Austin where we gathered with over 70 GNMers, 5 biological law learners who are applying this in their work, or they're starting to study. And it's just, it's I really feel that the change has happened. It's already happened, and we're now going to be seeing the different ways, right? Because whatever the endeavors are of people on this planet or plane or whatever you think this is, you know, it has to do with growth, expansion, joy. And when we base it off of nature rather than off of skewed, man-made, distorted ideas, and we get back to just those basics of masculine, feminine, the conscious, the subconscious, the creative spark that grows out of the uncertainty, I think really cool things are going to happen when people are doing their, you know, living their gift, you know, because each of us has a gift, something that only you can give, only you can express. Only your creativity, only your life experiences can transmute this thing into something that's going to have a trickle, a ripple effect into the world of what? More expansion, more fun. So this is really such a fun conversation.
It's amazing. And you've given us homework. So I want to just homework for everyone out there listening, homework for who's watching, and homework in this little AniMirror experience now. What you started off with by saying, Melissa asked about the sleeping arrangements, and you were talking about how, you know, you might integrate them, and you were talking about how the females, they want what they want and they'll tell you when, which is a masculine energy, and how the males are already showing the receptor, the receiving, the feminine. And so already we've flipped the script in front of us. Can we see it? Here it is, the conversation. Can we be in the receiving mode of creation? Of course, we're talking about bunnies and with bunnies today. Of course, and here it is. Can we be in the receiving mode? And it doesn't mean we're either or. It means we've dominated in this aspect of creation. Can we add the next? Can we come into the nature of quintessence? It's everything always. Love is eternal. Right? There's the circle that you cannot fit in a box because it's eternal. It continues. It's a sphere. So that's a fantastic way to say, okay, this is what we have homework on. If we're seeing this, how can I integrate that? Can I let go of the do? That's a huge recovery for a lot of us embodied in the feminine body, and we're used to doing the do. So that's where we would take the experience next if we were, live in a workshop, is okay, what's this about? And okay, it seems obvious now, but the nuances of it. And well, it's for me anyway, saying, okay, well, look, we got this here. Like we did the masculine thing to drop in the AniMirror. We made the call, we put it together, and now we're in receiving. And now we have no idea what happens. And that is exactly what Melissa said, is the uncertainty is the receiving, it's the acceptance. So man, what a way to end with the bunnies today.
Wow. Yeah.
Any final thoughts, Olivia?
Say that again.
Any final shares or thoughts that have come up with you?
Just kind of like a general share. Like I had been following your Telegram for like a couple years, I think, and because I really was enjoying like the GNM kind of posts were really intriguing, and then I had been like planning on taking a workshop or a course, and it just never happened. And then when I saw the animal one, I was like been wanting to dive deeper into like healing with animals. And so then I was like, well, I've got to like jump into this. And then the combination of that with the GNM is like, and then, the workshop ended. And I'm like, okay, well, now I have to dive deeper into like both of these things. And so it was just kind of like that, I guess, like that catalyst for me to go deeper into those things.
Awesome. So cool. So very cool. Yeah. And that's the thing, is we have to have so many doors, right? And what's going to spark your interest right now? Is it, just learning it in general? Is it specifically about the animals? Is it specifically about female biology? But all of it's leading back to the same place. It's just the essence of nature, the essence of the experience, and how it is the consciousness. It's the psyche. It's the experience that leads to the physical manifestations, that everything starts with the mind and then is expressed out into the physical for us to see it, so that we have a playground. And so I'm so glad that it sparked your interest and that you've been diving into it and exploring it and seeing the cool things with your animals. I mean, that's really what this was intended to be, was, ooh, how can we help people to merge this, to see not only the biological understanding of the animals, what they're up to, their symptoms, their behaviors, but also that deeper layer of personal evolution. It's like, oh, I had no idea that by getting these cows and these ducks and these chickens that I would learn so much about myself. By having these dogs in my life, that I would be able to see so many layers that I was blind to, right? And that's the cool thing, is that if I can't see it, it's like nature, the universe, the consciousness will show it to me in some way where I'm able to get it. And I'm grateful for that. I think it's such a fun way to do life, right? I mean, and if you wouldn't be listening to that if you weren't already on that wavelength. And so I don't think I need to convince you that, there's more to it than what it seems on the surface. But yeah, it's been really fun having you in the fold, in this group of curious animal lovers.
Yeah.
I think the new question is out there, everyone, for all of us, is literally reframing, even from accepting, what are we receiving now? And that's just a beautiful thing to take to our day in the play. What are we receiving now? You don't even have to think it's about me yet. Just now we're in the receiving mode. And then you can kind of take it into the spaces of, oh, well, if this is about me, that means I have the power to do something about it. Oh, maybe that's the way that I use my masculine energy once I've received first. And I can feel the frequency of it. I'm so glad you were a part of the very first New Frontier experience. And with you, it grows. Everywhere you go, you are a different being and you see it differently. And so some things are no longer hidden in plain sight because you see you, and in that, you get to shift it. And it's just, this is the life, right? This is the dream happy life. Thank you so much for your willingness to be a player and to be curious and, to keep it growing through you.
Yeah. Thanks for providing all of the combinations of everything. I'm excited to see what else is created.
More to come.
So thank you, Amy. Thank you, Olivia. Thank you, listeners. Please, if you are liking this podcast, like it, share it, help us spread the word about AniMirror. If you want to dive in deeper to understanding the 5 biological laws, you can join us in the full AniMirror course that includes the 8 weeks that we've been talking about and referencing, where you get to go back and witness the very cool transformations that happen during the 8 weeks. And we do have live workshops coming starting on Valentine's Day, Galentine's Day. We will be doing our first, and we'll be doing every other week. Every other week you can join us in the AniMirror workshop experience. If you have questions, you can join us just for one, or you can be part of the club and join us every month for our 2 live meetings. And so you can check us out on animirror.com, and we will see you in the next episode.
See you soon.